This is who I was, but it's definitely not who I am. Welcome to Vegas Prison Stories. Alright, so they caught him. They caught Vicky White and Casey White after a week of being on the run, not even knowing if she was a hostage. I mean, obviously, you could tell after you saw them leaving together that she wasn't a hostage, but she's dead. She looks like she took herself out. And then he gave up with no problem. Imagine that. Vicky and Casey White, the corrections officer and the inmate looking at a murder charge, on a capital murder charge, I believe, which means the death sentence or death penalty is at play. So they caught him in Indiana. They had escaped from Alabama, and after a short police chase, I guess they got into an accident. It was a bad one, and she took herself out, it sounds like. She survived long enough for them to take her. She was in ICU, and then she passed on. He was injured in the accident, obviously, but I mean, he kind of went out, said, hey man, it was her idea. I'm sure that's what he's saying right now. So you ask, how can something like this happen? Why would a CO do this? I mean, it's not really that uncommon. When I was in High Desert, there was a CO, and she had the hots for, I'm just going to say one of the Woods. And I'm not going to say his name. I'll say her name because, you know, what do I care about her? Her name's Lorenz. She was a mean CO. But she had the hots for one of the Woods, and she was the one bringing in stuff to him. So it's not uncommon. Usually it's the free staff, though. And it's definitely not usually somebody that is that close to retirement. She sold her house. They were making moves. She went, she got her man, and he talked the pants right off of her, obviously, and gave her the most love she's probably had in a while, and she lost her life over it. And that's what it boils down to. Maybe she didn't care. I don't know. He brainwashed her, though. He got her. And in the end, I mean, I'm sure that they had a pact. If they got caught, they were going to take themselves out. And she followed through, and he didn't, you know. And now the state will get him, I'm sure. So Indiana, of all places, is where they catch him. That's wild. That means that they were moving north, and it probably went through their mind, at least through her mind, being law enforcement. They'll be looking for us to go down south. Well, look, lady, that would have been your best move. You're in Alabama. By the time that they had recognized what was going on, and they recognized that you were gone, because your plan worked perfect, you could have been through Alabama, through Mississippi, through Louisiana, and probably to the Texas-Mexican border and across in Brownsville. But you tried to play it too smart, and you went north, and it didn't work out, especially in a small town. Anywhere in Indiana, what are you doing in Indiana? If I'm on the run, I'm going to a big city. I'm not going to stick around a small town. Small town people are nosy. Small town cops are nosy. And that's just how that is. And it'll cost you dearly, and it costed her everything. Now, Casey White was serving 75 years in prison for kidnapping and attempted murder after he was convicted of killing his girlfriend and kidnapping her two roommates. That's a lovely guy right there. He was also facing the capital murder in 2015 for the killing of Connie Ridgway while he was locked up. So now he not only tried to kill his ex-girlfriend and killed this little old lady at her apartment, and now this CO director falls in love with him, and she's going to take him out of there. So on Friday, they found her car, the Ford Escape. I think it was an Escape. Ford Edge, sorry. Like 100 miles from the prison. Sunday, they found another abandoned vehicle in Evansville. Now this is where this all went down, was in Evansville. So they left breadcrumbs, or they were sloppy on the getaway. Like, all the planning in the world must have gone into getting him out of this prison and not getting to a safer location afterwards. Like, they must have just been so surprised that it worked. I don't know. So when they found the car in Evansville, abandoned, they checked the cameras of the car wash. And then they see that's who they got. And that's how they tracked him down to this motel in Evansville. Now, after they track him down, they try to confront him, try to get him. Obviously, it didn't work out. They probably waited for them to come out. And as they were coming out to their car, they rushed him. They jumped in the car real quick, took off. A short chase. This car looks mangled. You can, I'll show you a picture. You can't really see it. It's kind of blurry. But at least in this picture, I mean, it looks like they hit pretty hard. Now, this is where it all stands now. This is all fresh. It all happened today. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. If he was driving, he's about to catch another case. If he wasn't, I mean, he's still getting the escape. He's still facing the capital murder. If it happened in the penitentiary, if it was free staff or staff that he killed, game over. He's going to get the death penalty. So this dude had nothing to lose anyway. So whatever. The escape didn't matter to him. Her dying, I'm sure, didn't matter to him. Because a dude who can talk a girl like that, I mean, look. He tried to kill his ex and then kidnapped her roommate. And I mean, this dude, he's a whole piece of work. This dude's a knucklehead in the first degree. And he doesn't deserve to be out on the streets if he's doing this kind of stuff. If you're killing women, I mean, bro, you got no chill. We ain't got room for people like you in our public. Now, what happens if Vicky hadn't have died? And it's very sad. It's very sad that she did. I mean, she probably led a very boring, unloved life, it sounds like. And then she found this guy and started a relationship with him, and it costed her life. And it's a sad story, because this guy, I can guarantee you, does not care even slightly about her. And that's horrible. Her death was for nothing. But had she lived, she would have gone away for a few years. They would have, I don't know what the laws are like in Alabama or in Indiana or wherever she gets caught or any of that, or the feds or whatever, you know. But I can't imagine that she would have done more than 5 or 6 years over this. She should have bucked up and taken the arrest, and she would have seen the light of day again. They didn't kill anybody while they were on the run. She didn't kill any. She did it very peacefully. She just told them that she was going to take this guy to court. I mean, that gives you all the time you need right there. Hey, I got to run him to court. She puts him in the car. They take off. It'll be at least another hour before anybody even starts to wonder. But they have all the trust in the world in her. So then it'll be another hour. You have a 2-3 hour head start before people even start to worry a little bit. And then when they're worrying, they're going to look in the direct area. That's going to take a while. That's going to be, 45 minutes. You probably have 3 or 4 hours right after taking him out of there to beat feet and get where you're going. She could have lived and she would have been all right. She didn't have to go out that way. So that's it. Breaking news. Very, very sad story. And, you pray for the soul of her and pray for the death of this inmate. And this is coming from an ex-convict, a dude's no good. A dude's no good. He should have never been allowed to walk the yard to begin with. He should have never been in general population because his crime was against a woman. And then his second crime was against another woman. The dude's a predator. And we don't have a place in the world for predators. So thank you for coming to Vegas Prison Stories. And we'll see you next time. Hit like and subscribe. See you later. This is who I was, but it's definitely not who I am. Welcome to Vegas Prison Stories.